Greetings, guys. Welcome to the Sunday edition of The Enemy from Within. I watched 4 network Sunday shows this morning, so you don't have to. Today's top story was speculation about the upcoming summit with Trump and Putin this Friday in Alaska. Ironically, the most clear and concise argument against it came from Fox News contributor Marie Harf. She said Eastern Ukraine is not Trump's to give away, and Zelensky needs to be a part of any negotiations over Ukrainian territory. And she went on to say Putin has won in 2 ways. The first is being invited to American soil. He's getting invited into the United States, and Trump is talking about giving away territory without Zelensky at the table. And then she was flat out ignored by the rest of the panel, who talked about what a shrewd, tough negotiator Trump is and how he will end the war this Friday. All the optimistic speculation is bullshit. We've seen this movie already. Trump has already said Zelensky better get ready to sign something, and there will be a swapping of territories despite Zelensky's consistent opposition to giving up any Ukrainian land. They're going to pull the same crap they did 6 months ago when they sent Marco Rubio over there and they took down Putin's wish list to vilify Zelensky as an ungrateful, unreasonable warmonger when he refused to sign it. And Trump has never hid whose side he's on. He might be talking in mixed messages now, but his party's actions have been consistent since the war started in 2022. And we've already seen what happens when Trump gets in the same room as Putin. He came out and put Russian propaganda over American intelligence, towing their party line to cover their asses over the 2016 election collusion. And conspicuous by its absence was any mention of Jeffrey Epstein or the files that may or may not exist anymore. They were only mentioned once by New York Governor Kathy Hochul in a defensive quip against Shannon Bream's accusations of Democrat hypocrisy over gerrymandering. So I guess the plan worked. They just had to wait for the storm to blow over again. And the Epstein crisis is gone. The next big story was about the gerrymandering efforts in Texas. Fox News hosted Governor Hot Wheels to call the Democrats in the state assembly cowards for fleeing the state to break quorum and search for some kind of lubricant for the next Republican boning. President Douchebag claims that Republicans are entitled to 5 more seats in Texas. It's funny how entitlement's a dirty word until they feel something belongs to them, you know. The consensus from the liberal media on all 4 networks was that this is normal and Democrats are just being whiny hypocrites. They gerrymandered too. Kristen Welker accused J.B. Pritzker and Eric Holder of hypocrisy on Meet the Press, and Shannon Bream rabidly attacked New York Governor Kathy Hochul, reminding her mockingly that it's legal in Texas, but not in your state. Texas Governor Greg Abbott accused Representative Jasmine Crockett of being racist because she said the governor's gerrymandering plan disenfranchises voters of color. Abbott has filed charges to vacate the Democrats' state assembly seats, claiming that they've been abandoned. Texas Senator John Cornyn hasn't had any problem debasing himself to MAGA levels in hopes that he can keep up or down, with corrupt and impeached Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton in a primary for his senatorial seat. Cornyn is currently lobbying the FBI to arrest Democrats who's left the state. I'll never understand how the corruption got so rampant that they quit hiding it, and how over half of the people didn't pay enough attention to stop it or even curb it at all. The Republican pocket stuffing free-for-all continues to get worse daily, and no one has not a goddamn bit of shame. The story I found most intriguing this morning was the ABC report on how Trump is remodeling the White House and lining the Oval Office wall with gold. The segment seemed innocent enough, with no mention of how much the gold is costing the taxpayers of a country that can't afford to pay for health care, food assistance, education, foreign aid, or anything that prevents or protects American taxpayers from imminent doom. Whenever disaster strikes, all we're entitled to is thoughts and prayers, because they are free and effortless. The money needs to go to billionaires that aren't rich enough yet. Then they can all gather and count their earnings in the comfort of the White House's new $200 million golden ballroom. For half a fucking century, the Republican Party has pushed the premise that if we invest all of our money in the greediest people, they'll dismiss their true nature and share the wealth when they have too much. And we all know the result is an outrageously tremendous wealth gap and soon to be $40 trillion in debt, not one penny of which was spent to help the poor. Every last dollar went to tax cuts and war profiteering for friends of the Bush family. Another thing that ABC never questioned is, why is the White House being renovated into Mar-a-Lago North if he's going to be leaving in 3 years? Oh, it's because he's not. The Israel-Hamas war goes on and on. ABC, CBS, and NBC all claim that Gazans are starving because Israel won't let the aid trucks through. However, the two senators on Fox News Sunday claimed to have witnessed Hamas stopping, looting, and selling the aid at the border. One of them claimed Hamas has profited $500 million in the sales. I didn't bother to acknowledge who they were. They were both also opposed to recognizing a Palestinian state. I keep my opinions on this matter to myself because anti-Semitism is a literal crime and the truth is anti-Semitic. So when the truth is inconvenient, the current administration's policy is to shoot the messenger, and I don't want to end up in a concentration camp or have my citizenship revoked. The last election broke me, because I knew that under Project 2025, they'd do everything possible to make it permanent. The Supreme Court began putting the agenda over the Constitution before the election, and every day is a display of proving me right the hard way. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, it just does. If you speak the truth, you're always right. I'll see you in hell.